Hello, hello. Can everybody hear me? Good morning. Looks like it's about that time. How is everybody doing today? You guys ready for this finals week here? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Just all right. Thank you. Welcome, 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 Christina, Tabra. This is the final stretch, you guys. We're almost ending this course. It goes quick. Awesome. You're ready. All right. Some of you guys submitted your projects a little late. If you have submitted past the due date, I probably have not evaluated your work from week 3. Just kind of hold tight. I will get to those this evening. Just a busy grading time for me from Sunday till now. So getting those late projects might take me a little while to get there, but I'll get to it as soon as I can so you guys can push forward with your projects this week for your final presentation. I think this will go a little bit quicker than you think because what I'm going to suggest to you for your final project is pretty much using the template that you used, and you probably already know this, from week 2 for your final project. Just swap that out, save it as another file, obviously the file name that you need to for the final project, and then swap out your imagery. I think that's the best way to do it. You already have a template, you already have an InDesign file ready to go. All you need to do is pretty much revise your logos, your personal logos, and then do the whole saving out process in Illustrator, importing into InDesign based on the specs in your final project, which we'll get to here in a second. Did anybody have any questions with any feedback or anything that we've talked about so far? I was pouring my coffee. That's why I got on here a couple minutes late here. I was trying to get my last cup of coffee in here so I can get myself going. But okay. All right. So as we go forward here, turn in more than 3 designs. Yeah. That's like your typical project there, Christina, turning in more than you need to. And that's great. That's great to see that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I responded to your email. But I think you did a great job. I don't think you had anything that you really missed. So week 4, you guys, this is the important week because you need to submit your work by Saturday before midnight. This is all work that needs to be submitted. So if you still owe for week 3, get that in as soon as possible for possible credit. Also, don't forget your career integration quiz. That's I think an easy 15 points that can be added to your total, which if you do get credited the 15 points, that's because you're answering it substantially and specifically to this course. Just reflect upon what you have learned in this course, reflect upon these questions being asked. I know every class, it's pretty much the same questions for every class, but every class is different and you learn and you grow differently in each class. So, this is part of the process. This is part of the design process. So every designer does this. It's good to get into a pattern and a habit to look back at what you've learned, maybe things that you need to fix, things that you achieved that you didn't think you would, and you're proud of yourself. That's also good. Things that you didn't think maybe you would have learned that you did learn, or maybe things that you want to learn that you haven't yet. So it's good to kind of always reflect back because that will give you a really good insight of what you need to work on, possibly maybe things that you need to excel on or learn more about or experiment more with. And that's how you grow, not only as a person, but as a designer. So make sure you're doing that. Wednesday, tomorrow. So we have a holiday coming up here, July 4th. And I don't know about you guys, but I would like to free up that day so you guys can just relax. And we have our lectures usually scheduled for this week on Thursday. So I think I'm going to push this or pull this back to Wednesday night, if that's okay with you guys. So tomorrow night, we'll do it at 7:30. That's Mountain Time. If you're Eastern Standard Time, it'd be 9:30, so it's a little later. But, you know, it is the last lecture, so I don't think it'll be, you know, too inundated with information. It pretty much will be a review process, you guys coming in if you have anything that you need me to look at, extra feedback on. Does that sound good, you guys? Is Wednesday at evening. If you can't make it, that's okay. Okay. I just don't want to, I know everybody has probably things going on the 4th, even though it's on a Thursday. I know we have a picnic here at our place, and I totally forgot about our lecture being on a Thursday this week. So our picnic starts at 3. So I'd like to get this pushed back because I want you guys to enjoy it too. I really don't like to have lectures on Thursdays, but just with my schedule, I have to. But since this is a holiday, it kind of, you know, changes things up here. All right, so I'll post an announcement to remind you guys about this. And like I said, if you want to bring any type of work in, I'm going to do some other reviews too, just quickly, maybe things I didn't touch upon tomorrow evening, and we'll just go from there. All right, so the last time that we met up was week 3, last Wednesday. A little recap here, live lecture 2. We did just an assessment to review. We looked at logo evolution of 25 famous brands, and then we also looked at interesting facts behind logos. Hopefully that was kind of a nice departure of, you know, regular demos during the live lectures, just to see some interesting facts about maybe logos that or brands that you never thought about before. And then the evolution of the logo type is really interesting because it gives you insight on how bigger, more recognizable brands who are more established, how they kind of evolved within, you know, maybe even 100 years. Some of them go back that far. See what works, what doesn't work, you know, just why it was changing, why it was evolving, and just, you know, understand that evolution. I know, isn't it neat? I think it's so cool. And some of them, it's not just about trends and keeping up with trends. A lot of it is too, there's a lot of them that went through even changes in names, brand name, and corporate changes as far as like merging as one company, or they had issues with maybe somebody using the name. They had to switch their name, like the Firefox was kind of interesting. They used to be Phoenix, and then they had issues with the trademark. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see the backstory. All right, so today we're going to look at some student examples from assignment 3. I just pulled a few from one section, so we're not going to look at a whole bunch, just a few that I pulled. Just that I think it's nice to see other people's work and get you guys inspired. If you have any questions too, sometimes that helps clarify where you need to be or what needs to be submitted for this particular assignment 3. We're going to take a look at what goes into creating a brand identity. Just a very quick video. I think this is important, even though we aren't going to be going into creating brand identities. This is typically when you're done with creating a logo, what is the next step? Usually creating brand identities. So a brand identity system would be any type of application. So it doesn't have to be print. It could be web, it could be mobile, whatever, even commercials, where the brand mark, so the logo mark, will be applied. So we'll just take a look at what goes into creating a brand identity, even though we won't be creating one for this class. It's just good to see, you know, what goes into it. And then we're going to go over your final projects and do a demo, and see if you guys have any questions from there. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples before we get into all the housekeeping stuff. Keep it mixed up here. Mixing it up. All right, so let's open up. I think I have 1, 2, I might have 4 examples to show you. I just pulled these PDFs super quick here. And I think these are great examples just to see different styles of presentation too, and how each one of you went about presenting your work. Okay, so you know it's really good to see you guys playing around with not even on some of you guys chose to go online or not online on the computer to do your roughs, which is fine. But it's really nice to see those of you who are just using a pen and paper or pencil and paper, because sometimes you know we get hindered by when we get onto the computer. This is what goes on when you get onto the computer. If you don't know the software very well, and even if you do know the software very well, so Illustrator, some of the tools may not do what you want it to do based on the ideas that you have. You might be hindered by that, or maybe you don't know how to do that application or technique. So going to the paper first with sketches is always super important, because I think a little bit better, it doesn't hinder you creatively. You know, you don't have a tool to hinder you at first. You're kind of getting these ideas out loosely before going straight to the computer. So it is really nice to see. This is a really good example of strong sketches. You might not be a good sketcher. I am not a good thumbnailer, trust me. And that's okay, as long as I can see it. It's very, I have some of you who submitted yours and it's so hard to see because the lighting's kind of not that great. Maybe you took a picture of it and it's real light, or scanned it in and it's not real bright or contrasted, so I can't see it. I want to see what your concept is. I don't really, you know, obviously it has to look like a concept. It can't be super loose, but if I can't see it, you know, I can't evaluate your work properly. So just seeing it, I'm not grading it upon, you know, how good the sketch is. But this is a great example because it's so contrasted and it's numbered. And it has really good different variations that this person is playing around with, which is another thing that I look at. You know, is the student using the same logo for each one, but, you know, just kind of swapping out one thing? No, this person is actually using different icons, different proximity of where the words are, playing around with type, placement. Excuse me, the mark is different in some cases. So this is great to see. Going into the 3 refines. So what you guys were supposed to do is create 15 sketches and then pull 3 of the strongest ones with the most potential, and then refine those further, placing them possibly in a rough draft type of a look on the computer. Great job. I noticed a lot of you guys struggling with overall hierarchy of your logo. So just make sure, yeah, they did a good job. Just make sure that your mark isn't you know, super big and the name is small. So, you know, you can't see the name, you just see the mark. You want to make sure you see the name and the mark together, it reads together. So you make sure that balance is there. Another thing that I noticed, and I think this person did the name perfectly. I like the creative artistry name with the whole abbreviation. But if you're using a monogram logo like this, okay, which means it's like initials, and then you just use a tagline that's very vague, say like studio or design studio, I would highly suggest that you spell out the name of what that abbreviation is above your tagline or somewhere near your tagline that's bigger, because people won't really know what that, you know, this, for instance, is super abstract as far as the abbreviation goes. Some of you guys have the abbreviation, you can see the letters very easily and read them easily, but you don't know what that represents. What are those, you know, representing? So add that in. This would be, you know, above your tagline, so that people say, oh, okay, and then they can match it together with what it is. I did see a lot of you too who use only the vague name, and so it would just be like design studios under here, or it would be just the name. So like, let's say BIS, and that's it. So if you're gonna just use a name, say like your first name, April Biss, you'll want to add a tagline to describe what it is that you do. So you would say freelance designer, design brand identity, you know, something that supports to somebody. If they were looking at the logo, they would understand what this person does if you're representing yourself, for instance. So freelance designer, creative, let's see, design creative, something like that, you know, so people understand what it is. And then, you know, great job for all of you that really answered the questions. Why am I a designer? Why do I believe design is important? And what is the thing that makes me unique and someone should hire me before the guy down the street? All very, very great questions to ask yourself. And sometimes we kind of look over this kind of stuff, and people ask you, you know, outside of school, you know, what, you know, you might say, oh, I'm a graphic designer, go for graphic design. And they're like, oh, what is graphic design? You have to explain to them. It's actually harder than you think. So looking at these questions, they might come easy to you, the answers. Maybe some of you had a more challenging start at this, but hopefully by the time you answered these, it gave you a better idea of where to go with your logos, you know, the process, because that's what it's about. Here's another one, starting with the questions first in the presentation, and then going into these nice, well laid out thumbnails here, which I think, again, is a great presentation of, you know, thumbnail sketches and different icons, different designs that this particular student is playing around with. Numbering it, it's all very organized presentation wise. And then the three final tighter roughs are presented after this. The only thing I would say is, you know, just kind of be mindful of when you do present every page. I would probably align this a little bit better, maybe have this all centered and all the same size. I would probably shrink these two down a little bit and then center all of them on this page just for, you know, a cleaner aligned presentation. But for the most part, this student did a great job with presentation. Great job. Okay, here's another one. Let me zoom out here. Now, this particular student, she's in here, did 15 roughs kind of on the computer, and that's okay. I just, you know, it's kind of something that wasn't stated you can't do. So, but this person really kind of played around with a lot of really interesting typeface choices, as well as alignment, proximity, icons, stuff like that. So this person is using even some of the abbreviations here, coming up with this final three roughs from those two, and then answering the questions here. One more to show you here. This is a nice presentation, nicely done, nicely laid out. See if I can zoom out just. There we go. Answering the questions. Overall presentation is really nice. You know, you put so much time into creating your logos and doing your work that why not make, you know, obviously the presentation is just as important. So it just elevates everything. So pay attention to that when you're, you know, presenting any work. This is a great example of that. So again, just logo concepts, kind of playing around with different typefaces, marks, positioning of type. There's 15, and then the 3 best refined logo directions. So this is just from one section. I didn't pull any from the other section. So great job, you guys. For the most part, you guys did a great job. Some of you guys just struggled a little bit with maybe the name. Overall hierarchy are the two things that I definitely noticed. But that's why we're here, right? We're here to learn what to do, what not to do, what works, what doesn't work, and evolve everything. So evolve your work. Take those suggested revisions, and typically what I do is I hone in on one that I think has the most potential when I give you your evaluation. So I'll hone in on the one, and I'll say, things that maybe you could try with it, experiment more with it. So definitely do that. Experiment, and then you can even come up with 10 of that one that I chose, 10 different variations of that one that I chose, that I said, hey, focus on this one before you even submit it. Okay. Now, I would highly suggest doing that. Go and look for different typefaces if that's the issue that you're having. Push the mark further, try different marks if that's the issue that you're having. Even if you have to go back to looking at competitors to kind of push you forward. What are they doing? What's working? What's not working? That all will elevate your work, and you'll evolve greatly by just seeing what other people are doing and what works, what doesn't work. Okay, any questions about that? We good to go. Good job, you guys, for the most part. And like I said, if you guys submitted your work a little late, I will be getting to that feedback this evening. Okay, awesome work. All right, so week 4, you guys, we are going to be finalizing our personal logo designs, and you're going to be creating a range of professional materials. This is just going to get you started with establishing your own professional graphic design look and feel, and you probably already had past logo marks that you played around with for yourself, most likely. And if you did, I hope you started from scratch. That's the whole idea, even though you already could have a mark. The idea is to apply what you learned in this class going forward. Go through the processes again, see if you can come up with something more meaningful and effective. So that's the whole idea, instead of using one that you've already used and not really changed anything. All right, so we're going to be defining the importance of designing a logo and corporate identity for a variety of formats and delivery platforms, and analyzing the role of color in differentiating logo design and corporate identities. Go ahead and look at this quick video here. It just talks about the 5 secrets to making your logo stand out. I won't click on that, but you guys can check that out and later. Course media, don't forget, you guys have, again, the last week. Let's take a look at this. If you haven't looked at this already. Yeah, exactly. You're right, Christina. Something the past classes has been working up to. After all, they talked about getting yourself branded and signed up for many media sites. Yep, exactly. And it's funny because a lot of those classes, everybody's like, can I design my own logo? And you're like, no, you have to stick to these project specs. Well, guess what? We have project specs, but you guys can design your own logo. So this is it. This is your time to shine, right? All right. So, and this definitely is something that you can keep on going when you even graduate. It's something you can build upon and evolve. What's neat about this week 4 is it just talks about your, identity material. So you have your business cards, designing the front of the card, back, alternative card versions. So it talks about the brand identity pieces. Here's letterheads, creating letterheads, envelopes. And then you also have a PDF reading about the importance of color in marketing. So obviously that's kind of like a little color theory thing going on. All right, let's go back home here. Discussion 4. Anybody get started with this yet? Oh, good. So good. Color is it's kind of amazing how you can convey a thought and a feeling just through color. Okay, great. Color is one design elements that is super powerful. So, it could definitely make or break a design. I mean, just think about all the colors, how they control our lives. The red stop signs and, things like that are ingrained in our culture and society. And, you know, this is another really cool, I taught I taught color theory for IU, but I also taught it for Tampa College way a long time ago. We had this really cool book for that class, and it was about the psychology of color. And what I learned in that book, which is really interesting, is color not only has a visual effect on us, but also has a holistic effect to our bodies. And what it kind of explained, it had this study in there. They did this color study, these doctors, and they had people come into these rooms, and they had people who could see color come into these rooms, and they would measure their feet, like their whole body. They'd have them like all rigged up to their senses and what their heart rate was and all that, like within your body rhythms. They were kind of studying that when you walked into, say, like a blue room, and they would study that. Okay. And then they would take you into another room, but they would cover your eyes so you couldn't see the color, and then put you into that room and do the same study, based on your body reactions. And what was really interesting is they said the people that walked into the room with their eyes covered and they couldn't see the color, their bodies reacted to that color. I'll have to pull that. I'll try to pull that article, or I'm sorry, that reading for you guys to take a look at and post it maybe in announcements. It's really, really interesting. I have the book sitting right here on my bookshelf. I'll try to scan in that article so you guys can check it out. Yeah, it was really, really cool. So talk about chromiotherapy, like color therapy. Did you ever hear about that? With your health? How color affects your health. So, for instance, do you know the brand name called Cooler, and they make bathtubs and bathroom appliances? Kohler. They make like toilets and bathtubs. So what's neat, and let me see if I can find an example. What's neat about their company is they actually make these bathtubs that have colors, and I'm gonna see if I can find it here. It's like chromiotherapy, color therapy, hydrotherapy. Let's see here. Bathroom colors. Yeah. So they basically emit this color, so that, like, say if you're, taking a bath, they emit this blue color, and it's for specific health benefit. And I just thought that was so fascinating. Let me see if I can pull up the image here. Because it just is one of those things where color therapy, let's see if it comes up here, bathtubs, color therapy. Just how color can affect chromiotherapy. Here it is, right here. I'll show you. So they make these bathtubs, and they have this blue light here. So here's the little, let me click on that and see if it actually talks about more. But it's just really cool. It's kind of cool. So it says it's a lighting system that uses the soothing qualities of color to let your mind and body drift and dream as you relax in a warm bath. And there's like a little, chromiotherapy is an option on more than 60 of our hydrotherapy baths. So you can choose your colors, so indigo blue, aqua green, or aqua blue, green, yellow, to isolate the color that suits your mood. Colors are stimulating. So I don't know, it's just kind of cool to think about. So color is super important when it comes to a design element. It's more than just a visual element. It really does kind of have more of an effect on people. Yep. You're right, Christine. I just saw your post there, your what you just typed in there. Yeah, I'll try to get that book out and scan that in here. All right, as I babble on about color, we're gonna go and take a look at the value of corporate identity. And I'm gonna go right to the prompt. You guys can read through this background. So for this discussion, imagine you have hired to create a logo for a fishing and boat rental business. At your first meeting, they reveal that in addition to leading guide fishing trips and renting boats, they also have dinner cruises, own a boat storage facility, operate 3 bait and tackle shops, and are in the final stages of developing their own line of nautical rain gear and outerwear. When you ask them if all of these different businesses relate somehow visually, they respond by saying that they never really thought about establishing a cohesive identity and inquire more about what might be involved. After learning all you have this mod regarding logo and identity design, how might you respond to this client regarding the importance of establishing a cohesive identity? What are the benefits of them in having not just a logo, but also a whole identity system? How would you explain how your own design process would shift if you were designing an identity system versus a single logo? What elements could they expect you to deliver? Conversely, how might it impact pricing and timelines? So all great questions here. For your citation, you might use articles that show examples of how a cohesive corporate identity system leads to better consumer loyalty. You can also find articles from experts that suggest how to best engage in project discussion and negotiation with clients when engaged in graphic design projects. All right. So, I mean, it's pretty much, I think, pretty makes, common sense on why you would suggest the benefits of having a whole identity system. I think that if you didn't, then obviously things would be disconnected, right? I'm going to try and show you something here. I have the example to show you. So I created, let's see if I have it in here. I might not. I just wanted to show you, I actually created a brand identity system for a company. It's actually a tattoo place. I don't know if you, sometimes I show this with other classes, sometimes I don't. So if you've seen this before, I apologize. Hold on 1 second, let me pull it up. I think it's just nice to see because it kind of shows you how this, well, the topic that we're talking about, how this applies. Okay, so this is a logo redesign that I did for a real company, a real tattoo place in St. Petersburg. And let me see if I can make this bigger here. There we go. All right, so I made this brand manual. So this is a brand book. So when you have a client that has all these different materials, that different even sections of what they want to do with their business, a brand manual will definitely be a great thing to do. But then also, to show how the brand would be applied to these different sectors of their business. So let me go forward. This is just the brand guide kind of showing how to use the logo, how not to use the logo. There's the mission statement, the vision of the company. So this is something, if you're designing a logo or redesigning a logo, this is something you could do if you're looking for more work and you think your client can do something that, or could benefit from this and has a budget to do this. You could actually do a brand manual like this. And it doesn't have to be 60-some pages long. It could be, I've had brand manuals be like 2 pages. And it's just showing you how the logo is being used. Thanks. So I just wanted to show you this because not only is this interesting because it's showing you the cohesiveness of the logo, and here's the logo being in the vertical sense and how it should be used in a horizontal sense, kind of showing you the rules, what clear space, how small it can go. So it's telling you how not to use the logo, both senses. Colors, this is the color page. Kind of like what you guys are doing with your projects right now, typefaces that are being used. So you're setting the ground rules of how to, how to place the logo, how to use the logo, and other specifications. So here we go. So brand identity, business cards that go with that. So this is how you can drum up some really, some possible work too. You can show how the logo would look on business cards. So say the company only gave you money to put the logo on, just to design a logo. Why not mock up what it would look like on a business card and say, hey, this is what it would look like. Do you want some of these? And then obviously if they, see it, they may love it and may want you to design it for them. There's stationery. Here's even the receipts. I mean, it goes into more and more detail. This is kind of what I wanted to show you. Let me forward this. So the logo can be applied on different applications. This one would be t-shirts and where the logo would be applied. So obviously it would be appropriate to the brand. These are stiletto shoes, the label inside. So if they had merchandise that they wanted to apply the logo on the brand manual, you can definitely show where that logo would be. This is actually the tattoo artist and owner here in this picture, Sean. And then it goes into signage, what it would look like if this place was franchised, how that would go forward. So you can even get into that detail as well. This is the actual studio. And then just CAD drawings of what it would look like if they were to franchise and have another building, what everything would look like. Keeping it consistent. Consistency is key. Here's flyers, posters, social media, how the logo would look applied to social media, Facebook, Twitter, merchandise bags, tags, and even possibly on big merchandise. Here's a motorcycle. Here's a scooter, like a Vespa. So when we're talking about that, let me show you the connection here. Hold on. This is what we're talking about. What benefits for them? What are the benefits for them in having not just a logo, but a whole identity system? So when you saw that, think about the pros of having a whole identity system. Okay. There are pros. So go ahead and use some examples in there, like stated here. And then also just make sure you're hitting upon the requirements, your initial post requirements. Okay, any questions about that? It was kind of a lot of information I gave you, but hopefully you kind of understand a little bit more further of what, benefits that you can talk about. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to shock you guys. That was just a project that I worked on. I actually got an award for that project, which was kind of cool. It's through Savannah College of Art and Design for the logo redesign. So kind of proud of that. You're welcome. It's always cool to see what your instructors are working on. All right, so let's take a look at this brand identity video real quick here, and then we can talk about this after we're done watching it. It's kind of cool to watch, get more info about this.
until a company has gone through the process and goes into creating a brand that really works for a company. We have worked for a wide variety of companies, from reinventing the Charlie brand to working with regional and local brands. The issues are the same. How do you stand out? How do you stand apart? It starts out as an initial idea, and then we develop it, adding color and texture to really bring the life out in a brand. That's one of the things that we find is really where the magic comes in, utilizing texture and paper and materials, all of those things, so that the sketch totally transforms into something special that really captivates the target audience. Taking chocolate boxes, you could have selected the obvious colors. We went with a completely different palette. The end result, it transformed the entire company. Seeing an incredible increase in sales and customer loyalty. And it was immediately identifiable. So what is the value of a brand? What is the value of this creative process? It's pretty hard to really measure something when you see business increase 300%, 400%, when you see it expand into multiple millions of dollars in business over the course of just a few years. So when we create a brand and it starts from scratch, we're quite excited because it will move forward, and each brand is a unique process. There's no cookie cutter approach saying this is the way it should look, and that's the way it should look. And the initial sketch is one part of it, and then building it up from there, where it really starts to take advantage of color and the personality. That's where the magic really starts to happen. One of our favorite projects was a company out of Napa Valley. Seeing how their business came to life as a result of really creating the right brand and look and feel, that's where the magic occurred. And we were really, really enthusiastic about it. And so all I can say is when one is developing a brand for a company, it's really quite special, and it's really quite important to really put that into the proper perspective so that a company can really benefit from something that's going to inject life into the brand, that's going to get the employees and staff excited. And that's what we have found happens when one is creating a brand. It's much more than just a cosmetic exercise. And that's the special magic that comes into being when you're dealing with developing brand identity.
Okay, so very, very cool. Just something to think about whenever discussing your, discussing within your discussion post this week. It's more than just a cosmetic, cosmetic element. Pretty cool. All right, so hopefully that'll get you guys started. Do you have any other questions for the discussion, or is that pretty clear? Yeah. Kind of cool to see the energy, and then like he said about the energy being placed into the brand. All right, let's take a quick break here, and then we'll get started. We'll kind of get a little time here before we get started with your assignment details. We have a few things before that just to take a look at, but actually I will go through that before we take a break, so keeping it all together. So as we talk about the brand identity examples, that could be letterhead. We just kind of showed you some examples in my brand manual book, but this is just to show you some examples of how the logo can be applied in very unique ways, but very consistently on your brand, on your stationery here, or your other brand identity pieces, business cards. So these are all brand identity pieces. And if you want, I'm going to give you guys this link here. This is kind of a cool resource. Looks like I need Flash though here. Let me give you the link. This is just something that you might want to kind of bookmark. It just gives you some great resources for, say, sizing of different brand identity pieces. So stationery, for example, business cards, it kind of gives you that, you know, the different sizes for that. Let me show you here real quick. Couldn't open up the other one. So let's say if you're looking at different paper sizes, these are obviously envelopes. If you're doing a DVD cover, CD cover, postcard sizes, this kind of gives you, what's nice about this, it gives you US mailing guides, and then it also gives you possibly a native file like InDesign to a template to kind of go from. And this is based on certain sizes. So I would definitely bookmark this for you guys on your computer. If you were ever to do a project for somebody, here's like web banners. It's just a nice little resource to have available for any type of project that you're working on. Here's business card sizes. United States is up here. Typical size is 3.5 by 2. That's the general size. Here's fonts on the web. So it's just some really cool resources for you guys. All right. With that being said, let's take a small break and then we will get back to your assignment 4, your final project here. Let's take 5 minutes and then we'll get started with that. All right, see you in 5. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, thank you, Tabara. All right, let's go ahead and get started with your assignment 4. So basically what we're going to be doing is the logo design part 2. I'm going to read through this here, and then let me know if you have any questions. Okay, because people have an immediate emotional response to any given color, color is one of the most important elements to consider in logo design. A company who wants to present a fresh, positive, upbeat personality would most likely never settle for an all gray and brown color scheme for their logo. Conversely, a company who wants to present a stable, professional, responsible personality would most likely never embrace a color scheme featuring bubblegum pinks, neon yellows, and acid greens. Personality is reinforced or undermined by color. Thus, it is vital when designing to consider not only color relationships within a logo, but larger cultural color representations. Excuse me. So, project overview. Last week, you worked on the preliminary sketches and black and white computer versions of your personal logo design project. Coming into this week, you should have 3 refined computer versions of your redesigned logo executed in black and white. After receiving feedback this week, you will finalize the logo direction you feel is most appropriate and create a logo sheet showcasing its appearance in a variety of sizes and situations. Project 4. After receiving feedback on your week 3 submission, refine the logo direction that you feel is most appropriate. Consider how you could best maintain message consistency within a typeface, color, and overall logo composition. In addition, create and implement a color scheme for your logo that uses at least 2 colors in addition to black and white. So, assignment instructions. Once you have completed your logo, create a logo usage guide for your single chosen logo that includes the following elements. So again, you're going to do a title bar with your name and your business name if applicable. Logo in black and white. Do not use any tints or less than 100% opacity of black. Logo in grayscale. This is often an equivalent value of the colors it represents. So for instance, yellow is often represented as like a 10 to 15% gray, and red is often represented as 80 to 85% gray. Color swatches and key showing CMYK callouts. Color swatches and keys showing RGB and hex code callouts. You guys know what hex code is? I'll show you that, how to figure that out. That's more for like a, how would you call that? I guess it's like an RGB type of a web-based colors. Color logo shown in the following sizes, so 1 inch, 3 inch, 6 inch, as well as black and white. Color and black and white logo showing on a dark background and logo with safe zone outlined. Typography overview for type used if applicable. And InDesign lay out these elements in a cohesive, well-organized manner. So it's almost similar to what you guys did in week 2, just a few different changes and pages. So you guys are to show the hex codes for number 5, which you didn't show before, so I'll show you how to do that. And then your safety zone, which is number 9, is just the clear space. How much white space or clear space do you want around your logo so that nothing kind of intrudes upon it? And then number 10 is different, which is the typeface overview for use type. So what type fonts did you use? You'll just kind of display that in the name that you used, in the font that you used. And then you're going to save, export your document as multi-page PDF once you're done laying them out in InDesign. And then you're going to name it the assignment 4, first, last name for grading. Any questions about that? I'm going to go ahead and make a screenshot of this so I can remember what to do here. And then I'm going to go into Illustrator, kind of the week 3 go, revise your logo, which I kind of already did here in Illustrator. So take the strongest one that you believe would be more effective to go forward with and revise it. And I just kind of placed it here on an 8x8 artboard, kind of like you did before, and then just make sure you're naming it as such. So I'm going to save this as assignment 4 demo. All right, so this is the color version 2. So let me go ahead and place in that screenshot so we can see all the ones that we need to do, which we did before, kind of step by step. If I make that bigger here, hold on. Okay. So we'll do the InDesign second because we're going to place, obviously we have to export them out in Illustrator. So let's do all the stuff that we need to do in Illustrator first. So the title bar, skip that for now. Number 2, logo in black and white. All right, so let's go ahead and copy this logo. Group it, copy, and I'm going to paste it on another artboard in Illustrator. Oops. Not that. There we go. Or what you could do too, which would make more sense, to keep it where it's at and you're not, keeping it consistent. I'm going to get rid of these 2 artboards here. Go to your artboard panel. When you, created your logo, if you have the color one like I have here, go ahead and just drag that down to the make a copy. And it'll make another copy. And then all you have to do, because this is going to be black and white, is go up to your, where's the edit color? We want to make this black and white, but I'm not sure if you can do it here. Grayscale, RGB, invert color. Okay, this isn't going to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and, I think we did this before, where we just chose the black and white option there. There we go. Okay, so that was easy. That was pretty good. Okay, the next thing, I'm going to take the artboard 1 and duplicate that again because I want that for my grayscale, which will be the next one. If I did grayscale for this black and white logo, it's not going to show any grayscale. It's just going to be black and white. So I'm going to select all because that's the next thing that we have to do. Go up to edit colors, and I'm going to choose convert to grayscale. And you'll see some darker colors and lighter colors based on your color variation. Any questions about that so far? The color swatches we can hold up on too, okay? Because all we'll need to do is actually really just take a screenshot of the color swatches here. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. So I just double clicked on, I took my eyedropper tool in Illustrator, took a sample of the green, and then double clicked on the fill where the green is. Now I'm going to take a screenshot of this. That's my green. And then I'm going to do the same with my gray. Oops. All right, so that when I go into Illustrator, or I'm sorry, InDesign, I can change it up. You can also do it in here too. It's completely up to you. So like say if you wanted to do that in here, I would copy and drag this down, make another artboard. So now I have 4. And I'm going to take a piece of this out here. So I'm going to show, this might be something that you might want to do. It's kind of cool to take out just maybe the mark if you have a mark that is good to do this with and make this the repeatable item. So I'm going to move this up just slightly. And I only have 2 colors to show here. So I just need 2 logo marks or 2 swatches. This would be the key that I'm going to show people. So let me go to align. There's my align tool. There we go. Let's make sure these are aligned. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, pull these up a little bit more. Let's pull this up a little bit more. Get some space in here. Is I'm going to make this one all green. So this I'm going to select and make the green. And then this I'm going to select and make all gray. This is just a fun way to do your key. You don't have to just do a square showing the colors. And then this is where you take your type tool and you can type in the CMYK. This would be, say, CMYK. So CMYK would be here. And just double click on your fill. Your CMYK is shown here. So 50, 0, 99, and 0. Oops. It's a little smaller here. And then this one would be 0, 0, 0, and then 49. That's easy. 0, 0, 0, 49. That's CMYK. Then I would just align these. Let me group these first. And you could do something like that. I'd probably make these just a little smaller. They look kind of big. So let's do 80%. There we go. Any questions about that? So that's your CMYK. And then just make sure that they are in CMYK. So double click on your fill. This is in RGB here. So see how it says in color? It's RGB here. So what we're going to do is change this to CMYK. So you're going to select the color, and you're going to go to your color palette, and you're going to go to CMYK on the right here, and that's going to change it to your CMYK colors. That's all CMYK. Same thing with this one, CMYK. CMYK, it's very easy. CMYK. Okay. And then we're gonna copy, we're gonna just make a copy of this last artboard. So this is how many artboards I have right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see it up here too, 5. Now we're gonna do the opposite. So we're gonna do RGB. RGB, which it was already in RGB, so you might wanna just go back to that. Now this is all set in RGB. RGB, RGB. So now you just have to change the color codes. So this would be 40, 141, 198, 63. $198, so you got that wrong. There we go. The RGB for the gray is 130 of each, so that's easy. There we go. That's CMYK. Or I'm sorry, that's RGB. Okay, the next thing that we need to do, show RGB and hex code callouts. Let's go back here. So hex code callouts are basically going to be shown. This is where your web saved colors are. You could definitely just add this number here to the same example. What I would do is probably pull this up a little bit more. And then what you could do here, pull this up and just drag another copy. And then what we'll do is we will take a little sample of the green again. The hex code numbers are here. Just copy that. And it starts out with the pound. So you just do pound and this color for this one. This is pound 82, 82, 82. There we go. And then I'm just going to make this smaller just a little bit. It's better balance there. Just give enough white space in between here. Any questions about that? No questions. Okay. I'm going to assume that's no questions. Okay. Sorry, I didn't see you guys. My chat thing was behind everything. Okay, so that's that one. Now we're going to do the logo sizes 1, 3, and 6. Black and white. But before we do those two, we're going to skip down to number 8, color and black and white logo. Color and black and white logo shown on a dark background. So I'm going to take artboard 1 and copy it for this one. One color and black and white on a dark background. So what would this look like on a dark background? I'm just going to do solid black. And I'm going to type in 8 by 8. And put that on your artboard. Send it back. If it looks good, leave it. If you need to adjust anything, adjust it. This looks not too bad. So where's my black and white logo? This one. So I'm going to copy my black and white logo, drag and drop, copy. I'm just going to copy the background again, what this would look like in the reversed out of your black and white. So there's definitely everything that's black needs to be white. There we go. Okay. Looks pretty good. I guess I could copy this and bring it to the end of my artboard. So I'm not flipping around here. All right, the next thing that I need to do, so I just skipped the sizing ones. We'll get to that. Logo with safe zone outlined. So let me go ahead and get the color, just get the color version for that. Safe zone is pretty much the space that you want clear around it. So go ahead and take in Illustrator, go into your shapes tool, and I would do the line segment tool, and then bring up your stroke box too, stroke under window, just so we can play around with the type of line. And when you go to the stroke, just say show options. So when you make this line, hold the shift key down. If you're doing a horizontal, it'll make it a perfect line. And you don't have to make this, you know, solid black. It could be a tint, like this can be very super light. And then I would probably make it very, very thin. maybe even 0.25. If I do that, I'll go a little darker with it. Doesn't have to be super dark, it shouldn't be, but something to show the clear space around your logo. So I just dragged and dropped, I'll drag that. And then what I would do, I would say no less than 1/4 of an inch. I'm gonna do a half inch here, and I'm just looking at my rule guidance over here. And you can even copy this if you want. If you already did this top, just drag a copy down so you have it perfectly, you know, the same. And then I would align these so these are all aligned perfectly. Where's my align? Everything's getting all messed up here. Hold on. Here's my align. Okay, so let's say the clear space is about a half inch. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to do a Command C, Command V, and then I'm going to rotate this. Where's my rotate? There we go. Under, not this one. Scale, there we go. Double click, and then just type in 90, and that'll rotate it 90. And then you'll want to align this to the outer edges of your logo. So you notice the one edge hits here, and the one edge hits at the very bottom, one edge hits on the very side of your logo. Go ahead and do an Alt drag and go to the very right side of this. Okay, so what you're showing is, you know, nothing can come from the beginning of this line into here. I'm going to group these here so I can shorten these. Grouping these, and then we can shorten them up here. Oops. I guess we can't do that. I'm going to have to do that manually. It's okay if they cross over. It's not a big deal. It's just for clarity's sake. And I'm holding the Shift key down as I'm adjusting this. And it's always good to kind of zoom in on your work because sometimes you don't get to see how detailed it is until you zoom in on it. So I'm going to take the direct selection tool, hold the Shift key down, and just pull these points inward so that they're not overlapping. See how this is not quite touching there? Zooming in, I would have never noticed that. So now I'm going to have to adjust that. Holding the Shift key and my direct selection tool, I'm kind of pulling these lines in. And I'm going to adjust this a little bit before I do anything. I don't want to do that. Pull it down a little bit. There we go. And then I'm going to zoom in on here, do the same thing. Okay, so then I think it's smart because nobody really knows what that spacing is, you know, especially if you're zooming in, you don't know what this spacing is. So let's put a key to this. I'm going to take the type tool and we're just going to say X equals ½ inch. And letter X can be placed here. On all four sides. And then you can align them perfectly. It's all about the details, keeping it clear. Okay, so X equals ½ inch. So it's important to be very clear about that, because you could want more space at the top of it or the bottom. You might want more space on the bottom than the top. So clarify that. But I wouldn't go any less than 1/4 of an inch. Right here I'm showing you 1/2 an inch. So if this logo was applied somewhere and somebody had, say, like an element like a bar, let's say like a color bar or even type that intruded upon that. So let's say color bar was more than a 1/2 inch by the logo, that's a no-no. So that's kind of what that is telling you right there. Any questions about that? That's your clear space. Safe zone outline. Okay, the last one is your typeface choice within your logo. You might have more than one. Oh yeah, I have 2 in mind, so that's good. Let's bring up my artboard here. I'm going to copy number 1 again, just drag and drop. This would be my typeface choice here. So I'll just have my color logo set here. And it's actually whatever typeface that I use. So I'm going to take my type tool and I'm going to sample my name. And I used VBoss New. So I'm going to type out VBoss N-E-U-E. Sorry, N-U-E-U-E. There we go. And just type out the name of it in the font that you made it. The next one is News Gothic MT. So I would select that and change it to that. And I'm just going to do mine all caps just for sake of consistency with the other one. And then just center this with this. Center all of this. And center it on your page. Okay. So the only things that we didn't do were the different sizes. So we're going to do a separate page for that one, because I don't know if you remember, we did that with the other one. Let me go dig that one up here from week 2. And let's see if I can find it here. Should have 2, yeah. So if you want to, you can open up that old AI file that you did for your other one and just rename this if you're using that same template. If not, you can change it up. It's fine. Size variations, okay. But this is kind of nice because it's already set. So all I need to do is go back to my original logo. I'm going to copy this. And I'm just going to place it in here. And I'm going to make this bigger. And then I take my properties box to make sure I'm doing this right. Okay, so it's about 4 by 6 now. Let's make it a little bit bigger. 5 by 5. I want it to be about 6. So that's probably about, it's about 5.5 by 6. So that's probably good. Leave that be where it's at, right there. Send it back. Delete this. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing, only make it smaller. Actually perfect almost. 3 by 3. Let's make it just a little smaller. Let's do 95. Yep, it's about 3. Make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So I'm just replacing this with these. Oops. Let's align these perfectly here. And then again, only this one, oh, has to be 1 inch. All right, so then just save that out. Save that, and then all you need to do, this is where it's easy. Go ahead and delete that, what's on that second page. Actually, I'm gonna delete that whole artboard. You're gonna just go ahead and copy that, just like I did with the other artboard. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna make this black and white. So just go ahead and I just selected this whole thing and I'm making it very rich black. There you go. So you have your two. Give me 1 second, you guys. Yeah, sorry guys. All right, so these two layouts are ready to go. And then your other, or my doggy, your other ones are ready to go as well. So we have pretty much 9 artboards here in the first layout and 2 on here. So you have a lot of pages. We're ready to go. Does anybody have any questions with that, what I just showed you guys? A lot of different variations. Okay, I guess not. So I would suggest the easiest way to do this, if you want to, is just go ahead and open up your week 2 project and then just save it. Just save as and name this assignment 4 in your InDesign for your layout in InDesign. I'm gonna save this to the desktop. And then just go ahead and type in the name, who the designer is, which would be you, and then the client. You can change the color of this. You can even change the style, but okay. So you don't have to keep it the same way that you did before, but this is just an easy way to have everything set up and you just have to swap some things out. I'm going to delete this page because we don't really need to show the original logo. So go ahead and delete that page. We'll go to the black and white one. Oh, and then we'll need to switch out all of this. Although I don't know if I have it on the master. If I go right to the master, here's where I can easily change this out. So go to your master page and type your title in so that it'll be consistent on every page. I guess that's the beauty behind that, right? Okay, and then I'm gonna select that, the old logo. I'm just gonna double click on that. And then I could do a command. Oh, before I do that, actually, I have to go right back to Illustrator because I have to export these out. So let me export these logos out here first. Remember how we exported that out as a PNG file? So let's go to the first layouts and do a export as, and we're going to export this as PNG files. And we're going to do all. Make sure you choose all, use artboards, and then all. I'm going to save this to the desktop. The resolution should be set at 300 pixels per inch and transparent should be selected and click OK. kind of exactly what we did the last time. Go back to your 2 size pages, sheets, export, same thing. Desktop, use artboards all. Transparent, everything looks good. Okay, now you can go back to InDesign. Swapping around here. And I'm going to double click, and it's going to create this red box. Just do a Command D, which is a file place. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to find that black and white variation here. The black and white one is probably this one. There we go. I'm just going to swap this out. If you want to, you can make it bigger. Mine's kind of small on this page. Let me see where my properties box is here. But this is fine. You can keep it the same size too. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. This is the grayscale logo. Yep, definitely send me that. I'd like to see that. Search for your ping file and replace it with your grayscale logo here. So see how easy that is? Same thing with this one. This is CMYK. So find that CMYK one. There's this one here. This is RGB and your hex colors. Find that one. Black and white, dark background. So it's all a matter of getting your files together. This is black and white, okay, and ready to be placed in here. Color. We just need to add a couple things in here. And then this one is black and white logo, which I think are the first pings that I did. Let's do black and white. Just replace that. And then the color. And then this is the last page, but we do have more to add here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to pages. We have the clear space to show and our typeface that we didn't do before. So what I would do is probably delete, let me delete this page, the number 10 for my back cover. And I'm going to go up to one that's going to be, let's see, similar to just a one. Actually, I'll just do this one, which is number 7 page. And I'm going to drag and drop that so that I'll copy it and it'll kind of add it to the bottom here. So it kind of made a copy. And then now what we'll do is we'll select this box here, just like we did before. We're going to choose the ones that we didn't do yet. So we did this one. Clear space. It's kind of hard to see because the lines are really thin. I probably would make the lines just a tiny bit thicker there. And then just put clear space, logo, color logo, clear space. Oh, okay. Of course. You never make it easy, right? Okay, I just made another duplicate and I'm just going to swap this out with the typeface variation here. The typography overview for type used. So you could either say typography overview or type used. I would probably say typed used or typeface used. Okay, and I think that's it. Let me go review this here in a sec. Title bar, black and white logo. Yep, that's it. And then just save this out as a PDF. You always say you hear. I'm surprised you can hear that. That's funny. I'm going to probably change this to reflect more of my colors and my logo here. I'm going to take my eyedropper tool and just sample that green. There we go. Yeah, I guess selective hearing, right? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save, not save as, save out as a PDF. And I'm going to do smallest file size. Name it the assignment 4, first and last name, PDF. And then just make sure that you have all of your pages checked for export and click OK. Then I would suggest just kind of looking at your PDF. Like I always say, just kind of make sure before you submit it, make sure the logo, or sorry, the PDF looks good. So let's go ahead and open that up. If I can find it on my desktop's kind of busy right now with all my different files and stuff going on. I think I found it. There we go. So I'm going to open it up for you guys so you can take a look at the final piece here. First page. I probably would make my logo at least 30 to 40% bigger for presentation. It's kind of small here. Just kind of give you an idea. But it's good to see kind of more white space around it. So don't get it too big, especially when you have these examples. But look how small this is getting. So I probably would pump it up a little bit as far as the scale of it. Probably go with more of like this size. It's just getting a little lost on that page. And that's just something really easy I can do. Just go in and go back into InDesign and kind of adjust that. Just make it bigger. No, you haven't been talking on my iPhone. Oh, okay. Okay, so then you would submit that PDF for your final project. You do not have to add this to a Behance or anything like that. So I guess that step is not there like you did in week 2. So for my final piece, how many do you want me to finalize? There you go. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you can definitely get it down to 1, that'd be great. Just because we can focus all of your energy on that. But in the meantime, if you want to experiment before choosing that one, like I said, you could do as many as you want, but you know, obviously you want to kind of hone it down to 1 so that you're not making, you know, like a 20-page book. And you're focusing on that 1 logo rather than, you know, a few that you can make as, you know, more as effective as possible. Do you guys have any questions about that? Anything that I showed, if you want me to show you anything else or slower or whatever, let me know. I don't know how fast. I mean, it was pretty much, I went fast because I did a lot of the steps you guys were privy to last week with your other assignment. So it was just kind of swapping out certain things. Okay, I know. All right, so I'll kind of give the mic to you guys if you want to share anything or if you have any questions. But before I do that, I did want to kind of show you something just to kind of keep this in your mind while you're designing. Your assessment for will be, and we'll go over this tomorrow night. This is going to go over how you're going to be applying. You're going to be implementing your logo on the 3 personal elements. So business card, letterhead, and envelope. So you're going to have your identity system placed, pretty much your brand identities will be these 3 pieces. And then I will go over on Wednesday how to create a mocked up 3D mock-up for these. Very easy. So if you don't know how to do that, the PSD mock-ups, we'll go over that tomorrow night. But I just wanted to show this to you so you kind of have this kind of in your minds that this is the next step of the process. So you're going to have your own little identity system. All right. All right, you guys. I'm going to kind of leave this last 15 minutes up to you guys if you want to, if you have any questions, want to share anything. This is your time to shine. Your time to shine. If not, we'll just wrap it up, call it a day, and we'll meet tomorrow night. Good. You're asking Christina about, do I have PSD mockups for you guys? I can search for some and give you guys some, possible ones if you want me to. Okay. I'll do that search tonight, and then tomorrow night when we meet up, I'll try to get those together and give you guys maybe some examples to use. You can post them in there too, yeah. If you have some already, you definitely can. We all can share and gain as much as we can from each other here. I'm glad you're excited to do this. I think it'll be really, really cool, especially when you apply it to all the 3D mock-ups, because that's when it really looks real. So I think that's the fun step too. But before you apply it to that, you have to apply it to your flat file. So I'll kind of go over that tomorrow night when we have our lecture. Yep, exactly. And I do with you guys too. You guys allow me to be, you inspire me and allow me to learn new things too and grow as an instructor and designer. I learn a lot from you guys, which is great. All right. Oh, I wouldn't say that. It's just all experience for sure. I have like 20 years experience, so it's a little different. You know, you guys are all pretty much beginners here. Good, Tamara. So you're really excited about this. That's awesome. All right, so I want to see that put into your project here. All this energy. All right, so nobody has anything to show or anything? We're all good for now? We're gonna wrap it up. And like I said, we're going to be meeting tomorrow evening so that we don't have to meet up on the 4th of July. You guys can now enjoy your 4th. All right. Yep, I'm going to be getting to the ones tonight, so just kind of hang tight until I get to that. Yep, I will. I will send out reminders, and I will try to remember, I have to remind myself to send that article about the color chromotherapy article. I guess it's not really an article, it's from the book. So I'll post that too. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for meeting with me. And yeah, you could, hey, you're not bugging me. You can send me emails. That's fine. If you get them and I get yours. All right, guys. I'll be talking to you soon, okay? Have a great day.